Marstons Resolution Premium Beer.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bangs, Bikes and Booze Reviews. The sun is over the yard arm. That means it's time for a beer, and I've got a bottle of this stuff. This is the Marstons Resolution Premium Beer. Before we begin, I don't know what your views on Marstons are. Everyone's got an opinion. Sorry, everyone who likes beer has got an opinion on Marstons. I'm not sure whether I've made my views clear or not about Marstons, but I'm not going to do it here. There's other videos where I'm doing it in. There's one about the Carlsberg and Marstons merger. Have a look at that one. You will see my views on Marstons. This is their premium beer. I had to do a lot of research to actually find out what this was. And in the course of my research, I found out the Wychwood Brewery are selling this on their website. Now, I don't know, I suppose this is what happens when you have a big sort of owner. Well, does it? I'm thinking about sort of AB InBev and Coors and, you know, people like that. If you have a beer with its own website, does it advertise the other beers on their website that AB InBev and Coors have got in their sort of stable? I don't recall it ever being the case, but I saw this on the Wychwood site, I saw this on the Marstons site, and on the Wychwood site they were also selling Young's beer. They was basically selling everything in the Marston range. Now, I don't know, I suppose it's marketing, and you know, Marstons are in a bit of trouble at the moment. I know they've gone through this merger and stuff like that. I'm not going to talk about that here. Again, look at the Marstons and Carlsberg merger video for that. But they've come up with this, the premium beer. This is what this review is all about. I was a bit shocked to see that they actually done this. And I remember I was going to a barbecue and I was in a place called Bargain Booze. It sounds like heaven, doesn't it? And they had a bottle of this on its own in the fridge for £1, and I thought I'll give this a go. And I tried it, and I couldn't make head or tail of it. I just picked it up on the day, opened it at the barbecue, drank it, and I didn't think much of it. I've since did a bit of research to find out what I was actually drinking, and it turns out this is a low sugar or non-sugar beer. They're nothing new. German brewers have been doing this, well, at least I can remember when I was a kid, and Holsten, when it was made in Germany, were advertising that. There used to be TV adverts with Donald Pleasance. You remember Donald Pleasance, the man who played Blofeld in the James Bond films, and he was the blind forger in the film The Great Escape. Well, he was advertising Holsten Diet Pils. And that's what this is. Not Holsten Diet Pils, obviously, but it's a beer where I think what they do, they double ferment it, and that double fermentation just removes any sugar from the malt that's there. Obviously, when you ferment beer, there is sugar left from the malt. All the sugar doesn't get devoured in one fermentation. Some brewers add sugar. What they've done with this is they've fermented it twice, which allows all the yeast to attack the remaining sugar. It turns it into alcohol, and you're left with a very, very low sugar content. Why do that? Very good question. There are some people who just don't want sugar in their beer. Number one being diabetics. A lot of German breweries actually do diet beer now. They call it diet, D-I-A-T, and it's also good for people who are trying to lose weight or maintain their weight, and yeah, generally just for people who want to watch their sugar intake. I think it's good. I think there's definitely a gap in the market for this, and I'm not knocking Marstons for doing that. That is, you know, why not do it? Brewers do it for people with gluten intolerance. In fact, there's more gluten-free beers than there is of these diet beers. I would have thought it had been the other way around, because let's face it, there are a hell of a lot more people wanting to watch their sugar intake than there is people who have gluten intolerances. But that's just my opinion. Anyway, let's stop gassing and let's get on to this beer. Mr. Magoo will get his bins on. Okay, this is a premium beer. Now, this is where it goes wrong for Marstons. They've called it Resolution. It is a premium beer. It's 4.7% by volume, and it's just got full flavoured English beer. That's what it's called. It's not a lager, it's not a bitter, it's not anything, I don't know, it's just beer. That's a bit poor. I'd like to know what it is. Double fermentation. You know, you can double ferment lager, you can double ferment ales, you can double ferment almost anything, and yeah, I would have liked to have known what it is, but that's what they say. Resolution is brewed with quality, character and flavour that you will expect from Marstons. Best enjoyed chilled, and that's about it really. On the front, brewed using only the finest ingredients, barley. Best using the. Well, I will start this again, for Christ's sake. Brewed using only the finest hops and barley, full flavoured, refreshingly crisp and light. And that's it. There's no description about what it is whatsoever. So, let's stop gassing. Let's stop the investigation work, the detective work that you shouldn't have to do on a fucking bottle of beer to find out what it is. And let's get it open. Cap is just plain silver cap, nothing special. On the nose, nothing. Oh, there's a faint sulphur. Christ almighty. Oh, faint hop bitterness as well. Really having to sniff hard to try and get anything out of it. So let's get in the glass. Maybe I can get some more from the glass. Now it is it 330ml? It's 275ml. I do apologise. Did I say 330? It's 275. I sort of get that as well. You know, if diabetics are going to be drinking this, they want to be taking it easy. So yeah, I do fully get why they've put that in a 275 bottle. Not going to knock them for that. There it is in the glass. Clear as you like. Reasonable carbonation. Hardly any head. Flat as a witch's tit. So you see that now? On the nose. Maybe we'll get some more out in the glass. Faint alcohol and malt. Quite sweet actually, which is unusual for a beer with no sugar. But there it is. It looks to me like a golden ale rather than a lager, but it could still be a lager. You know, I don't know. Knowing Marstons, I'd say that it's a golden ale. So let's stop gassing and let's get it down the hatch. Cheers. Yeah, it's tasting like it's got British hops in there, Fuggles, Goldings maybe. I'm not getting any citrus on that at all. No malty back end either. Now, usually that would be an indication of some sugar content when there's malt on there. Not getting that. It's quite dry as well. It's a dry sort of mouthfeel to it. It's more hoppy than anything, and it's British hops. So there's bitterness to it, earthiness, little touch of spice on there as well. It is a little bit different. Carbonation is mild, bordering on slightly coarse. Yeah, the hops and alcohol do stand out on this, and it's almost like, well, I'm not getting hardly any malty flavours from it at all. And this is chilled, so I should be getting most of the flavours here. Reminds me of a golden ale. You're left with a lot of hop bitterness on the back end. And for once, where they've called this crisp, that is a reasonable description of it. This is all about, I'm getting a touch of alcohol in there. Now, the reason I'm doing that is probably because I'm not getting the big malt in there, but it's okay, it's drinkable. And yeah, not bad considering what it is and the people, or the target audience who would be drinking that. So what's the verdict on this? Well, I get what they're trying to do, and I think it's good for the people who would be, or the target audience who would be buying this. It's certainly quite tasty. Now, if you had diabetes or type 2 diabetes, say, and all you wanted to watch your weight, but you absolutely love the taste of beer, this wouldn't be a bad alternative. The sugar content is low. I think it's 0.1 or 0.2, 0.01 or 0.2, so it's virtually non-existent, and that comes across in the flavour. It's quite bitter, and there's a lot of hop bitterness on that as well, but they're British hops. There's no citrus in this at all. It's reminiscent of a golden ale, but again, there's no malt, no sweet malt on the back end, or any malt, no biscuit malt, anything on the back end. Of course, malt is where the sugar comes from, so if it's all being devoured by the second fermentation, then you're not going to get any malty flavours in this. But it isn't bad. I don't mind it. It doesn't stand out, put it that way. It does not stand out. It's not flavoursome. I'm not going to, throw my hands up in the air and say what great it is. I get why they're doing it. It needs to be done. And for once, Marstons have got things right, I think. It's not the worst beer in the world. If this was a normal beer, and it's 4.7%, and it was aimed at anyone, then I'd say it's a pretty poor attempt, typical Marstons. But because it's sugar free and it's obviously not got big malt flavours in there, it isn't bad. I'm hopefully not going to get diabetes, and I'm a fat fucker now, but I don't care really. That's a contradiction. Hopefully I'm not going to get diabetes, but I'm a fat fucker. I don't care. Yeah, you're going to get diabetes. Fucking idiot, am I? yeah, it's not bad considering the people who would be buying this. But as I say, if I was, unfortunately one of them people that had to watch me wait, or, well, I do have to watch me wait, but if, I was diabetic and I had to, that was all I could drink, yeah, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for me. It could be a hell of a lot worse. I'm not going to give it a mark. And the reason I'm not going to give it a mark is because it's aimed at a certain type of person, and it's not a level playing field for Marstons. I'm not going to be unfair on Marstons because I see why they're trying to do this. A lot of these big brewers do these, low calorie beers. As I say, Holston done it as well. And occasionally I see diet pills come up, beers for sale. I should review more of them actually, because there is definitely a place in the market for them. But I'm not going to give it a mark. I think it would be unfair, But as things go, this is not bad. This isn't. And remember, beer is working class champagne.